Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to use some of the transitional effects in After Effects, and also I'm gonna go over using the Puppet tool. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to just open up, create a solid, and I'll just maybe change the color here. So the first set of effects that I want to show you basically are located here under transitions. You can also access them in the effects and presets. If you know the name of the effect, you can just type it in and it'll basically populate with the name of whatever it is that you may be looking for. Let's say if I want to choose blur, you can get all the blur options showing up. But right now I don't want to use blur. I'm going to go to effects. Actually, make sure your layer is selected. Go to effects, transitions, and I'll show you, like, there's a few of them that are really interesting. So one, let's say you want to do block dissolve. You can just transition out like this, and you can feather it if you wanted to, and you can just do it only vertical or only horizontal. So that's one. And then if you want to delete that, you just highlight it and delete it. The second one would be card wipe, and that's an interesting one. So we can just sort of go from one scene to another. I'm actually going to open up another photo because I think it'll just look more interesting if I have something else underneath it. And actually, let me just put that in there. And if double click it, you'll get the window popping up here. So you could see that it reveals whatever it is that's underneath it, and if you want to make it wider, you could do that. And so that's if you wanted to reveal something below the picture, from the top picture. If you want to reveal what's underneath it, this is what you could use. So I'm gonna get rid of this now. The next one would be one of the ones that I use. The grid is really interesting, and then you can customize the border. You can sort of fine-tune it further using these options. The border, the tiles, you can choose like a different types of openings. You can also animate it. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then have the image wipe, just a really quick fade into the next image. That's a really useful one. And then we have one of the ones that I really like. It's the Venetian blinds. And again, you can just sort of define it more, change the directions, and so on. You can feather. Another one that's really good is iris wipe. You can just sort of As you could see, I can just, based on the shapes, you can just sort of animate how the opening is going to animate. And the light sweep is also really interesting. Just want to put that in the center. Sort of has that effect. It's pretty cool. I can also change the intensity, change the value of this color if you wanted to. Okay, so that's another good one. So these transitions are just really kind of fun to play around with. So we have these ones where you can just sort of animate, you know, kind of like a barn door almost. So this was the Jaws effect. That's pretty cool. And then I'm not sure if we did the grid wipe. Oh yeah, we did the grid wipe. So I like you to just take it upon yourselves to play around with these effects. These are a lot of fun. So now I'm going to jump into the puppet tool. So I've created an Illustrator file, like a flower from Illustrator that I've saved as an AE. I'm going to go ahead and I've actually imported the AE in my workspace. And again, remember that you want to make sure any items from Illustrator or video or audio that you're using for your projects, it should be in a folder with your After Effects files. Otherwise, your links will be broken. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this in, and it's pretty big. I'm going to size it down a little bit. Actually, just kind of keep it nice and big here though. So let's say this is the flower. So the puppet tool is identified by this pin tool, and I'm going to go ahead and secure it from the bottom, and you can see that automatically you get the yellow pin that highlights when I hover over it. That means that it's been activated. I'm gonna go ahead and just add a couple more pins because I want to animate this leaf. I'm gonna go ahead and secure this as well. Maybe I just want to animate this little piece as well. So now if I go to a different place in time, I'm going to go ahead and move that down. You see that it sort of does this thing, and I can go ahead and maybe move, oops. You want to be careful. Probably I need a couple more pins to make sure the animation is like smooth. And then it's just very organic, the movements. And then if there's pins that and if I open it up, you'll see that under deform I have all these pins, and if I highlight it, it basically just highlights it in that section. So maybe if I don't want it, I can just go ahead and delete it. If there's certain movements that's just not as organic. So it's a really useful tool to kind of add subtle animation to your projects. And this is, you can highlight it and it shows you like all the path and the mapping of the puppet tool, and it's pretty fun to play with. The leaf can be animated a little better, but again, remember, it's the bottom part is really important. Like when you have to kind of secure your pin from either the bottom or the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually delete the whole puppet tool here. There we go. Okay, and then come back here. There we go. So if I were to maybe another way you want to animate it would be from the top. Just move this down here. You can see like if the wind is like kind of moving your puppet tool around. That's another way. Oops, that's another way that you can kind of animate the piece. So it's a lot of fun, but you have to kind of make sure you're animating it in the most subtle way. So this is how on some of your projects I noticed that it could really benefit from using this tool. And actually I'm going to show you one other quick thing here really fast. Make sure this is center, and if I click my puppet tool, we can also record it. So let me just secure the piece first, like all the areas where you don't want it to have unnatural movement. You want to kind of lock those areas in. So now I have this recording option. So you want to, if you want to record this, you want to hold the command key, and you see a clock that kind of pops up and it starts recording your animation for you. So let's see here, what do we have here? Just click off. Just kind of not, there's some of the pins that could be more organic, so you can just go ahead and not fix that. But so if you hold the command key or control key on a PC, you can go ahead and you can see the clock kind of pops up. So what do we have here? So basically this is how you can animate using the record clock in After Effects, or you can just manually do it. So this is how you use the puppet tool.